Hello everyone, welcome to the Monaco Grand Prix, episode 5 of the Gabriel Bortoleto career mode, and I have a feeling that this is going to be one hell of a race. So get your snacks, get your drinks, and get comfortable because this is going to be a crazy, crazy race. It's always going to be crazy at the Monaco Grand Prix, but let's have a look at this. Ooh. That's quite tricky, actually. 19 for better. Of course I'm going to get 19 for better. Complete 10 laps during a race weekend. Yeah, I don't use rewinds anyway. And we obviously don't have any resource points for upgrades, but an engine durability seems quite good. So let's just go into the race weekend, and I'm not going to bore you out with practice. We are going to go straight to qualifying. So now, going into qualifying, we are obviously going to try and get the best position as possible for this session, because obviously you do want to start high up in the race in any race, but especially the Monaco Grand Prix, where it's so hard to overtake, it's so tight, the cars are way too big for this circuit, so we really need to get the best qualifying position that we can get possible. So going into the tunnel for the first time, we're actually catching Nico Hulkenberg, who I believe is on an out lap, so hopefully he doesn't hold us up too much, which he doesn't. He gets out the way at the perfect time, which is nice, as we are absolutely sending it through to back and the swimming pool chicane. We nudged the wall slightly, giving us a bit of damage, and apparently we've gone purple in Sector 2, which I don't believe whatsoever. But now, exiting the last corner, battery and DRS up to the line, and we go P3, which is actually quite nice. But going on to our second lap, I am really scrambling for time because I left the garage a bit too late. I was getting a bit distracted, and we are not going to make it. We're not going to start our second lap. Crap. Yeah, I kind of messed up the timing of that lap, and now we are P15.
With qualifying complete, all that remains now is the main event. We'll be live and
so that's not ideal. P15. So that was an absolute disaster. We need to make up some serious places now, but I think we can do that. I do think we can make moves around here because their AI do slow each other up on the first lap, and I'm pretty sure out of Rasgas they are quite slow. So we might be making a few Rasgas dive bombs, but you have to keep watching the video if you want to see that. So we will just jump into the race right now. So, 5 red lights for the Monaco Grand Prix. We are starting on the mediums, and it is lights out and away we go. Everybody else is on the hards. We've chosen the mediums. We're going to go down the inside into Sandoval. We are really showing our heroics into Sandoval, as Jeff would say back in the old F1 games. And now, up into Casino Square. We're going to send it up the inside of Lance Stroll. We need to make as many positions as we can on this opening lap while the cars are all bunched up and in the Constantino effect, as we send it up 2 more cars, Oliver Bearman and George Russell, as we go into the Monaco hairpin for the first time. We are just using the space on the outside to keep that position, and we've gained 5 spots. We've gained 5 spots. We are up into P10 straight away. And we're going to catch the back of Fernando Alonso, who is also starting on the mediums. But obviously his car is a lot quicker, so it will be tricky. But I believe we can pass anyone on this circuit. But George Russell has actually dropped back quite a bit ever since we overtook him. Maybe we just, like, offset his line going into the hairpin, or I'm not sure what happened, but we are just trying to stick with Fernando, and DRS will definitely help as well, because this is such a high downforce setup that we're running. DRS is going to be extremely effective, and if the car ahead doesn't have DRS, you can really catch up. So it will be very useful for us making overtakes today. But we are catching the back of Fernando Alonso, and we go round the outside of the Monaco hairpin. We get the inside line for the next corner, and we overtake Fernando Alonso round the outside before the tunnel. And if you think about real life, Fernando Alonso is Bortoleto's manager, so I'm sure he's pleased with that overtake. But now, focusing ahead on Pierre Gasly, who we need to pass, as he's not, well, he is in the DRS, but just about. So if he does fall out, which he's not going to, by the way, if he did fall out, we would have to capitalize on that, as DRS is going to be very powerful with our high downforce setup. So flipping out, we are just trying to make a move, as we are now well in the points, and we're gonna, it's more of a damage limitation race, as qualifying didn't go the way I wanted it to. But we are going to actually try to do the same move, but we weren't as close as we were last time with Fernando Alonso, but we absolutely bin it. We've just completely bottled it. Coming out the exit of Portier, and it's a red flag. It is a red flag due to my silly driving and basically a car park happened behind me. So that's the reasoning behind the red flag.
Nice advantage here. Let's have a think about how we handle the rest of this race.
I did not mean to do that. Okay, that's right. So what's the strategy now then? I kind of feel like I've cheated. I don't know why. I just feel like guilty. But that wasn't rough. That wasn't intentional, but let's just go. So, I feel guilty for some reason. But 5 red lights for the second time in the Monaco Grand Prix. It is lights out and away we go. We short shift up to second to get the traction, as Leclerc covers our inside. So we go round the outside of about 3 or 4 cars there, and we do get Pierre Gasly, and we're side by side with Carlos Sainz going into Casino Square. We do pass him before the braking zone, and we are now into P7 for the Monaco Grand Prix. We started, I think it was P10 or P11, so we've made a few overtakes, and now going into the Monaco hairpin, everyone's concertinaed up. And now we're going to go round the outside of Yuki Tsunoda in the Red Bull, as we do make it a lot cleaner than the overtake on Fernando Alonso. That must be said. But I have a little plan, right? So Hülkenberg, as you can see, has already got a pretty decent gap, and he's also on mediums. So I'm going to try and complement his strategy by holding up Tsunoda as much as possible. And as you can see, the gap in front is 3.6 seconds. I've been holding up Tsunoda like a madman to let Hülkenberg use his mediums to full effect, and maybe even potentially pass Oscar Piastri. Well, maybe not pass him, because the AI can't really overtake, but at least catch up to him, and maybe something will go his way. Maybe he'll make a mistake and he can get ahead. But we are turning the battery into overtake as we are going none for the whole lap apart from going into Casino Square and the tunnel, which is the only places that we are using overtake. The rest of the time we are going in none, saving battery, and more importantly building a gap to Hulkenberg and holding up the rest of the train. So then when Hulkenberg does pit off his mediums, he's got a pit stop window to come into, so then he'll pretty much guarantee P5 and I can fight my way back up into P6. So I'm really playing the team game here. We want to get as many points as possible in the Constructors' Championship, but now we are going to be skipping forward actually into lap 13, where coming through to back into the fast chicane and then swimming pool chicane, there's going to be, let's say, an incident, as we've also gapped Sonoda, by the way. We actually did turn on the battery for a couple laps and we did gap Sonoda, but we are actually going to get a safety car. So none of that sort of holding up mattered, as Cali Mayer just completely spins it and is now out of the race, which is a bit of a shame, but we have now got a safety car which will help us.
Okay.
Because
interesting.
I wasn't really liking the hards.
Safety car, but I'll probably just show the replay for you. And we're boxing, definitely. I don't know what tyres. We might go on to mediums.
Good opportunity to pit. We'll be a bit longer than planned on the next tyres, but we can make it work. Just remember, we'll probably lose track position.
So yeah,
I don't
we
mind,
are
but I'm gonna box
onto the mediums.
Some fresh mediums. I think that'll be beneficial.
So yeah, that is exactly what we do coming into the pits. Everyone is also boxing ahead because for the Monaco Grand Prix, you still have the mandatory 2 pit stops. So everyone is boxing to get those pit stops out of the way. And we're going to go 12 laps on the mediums and we'll go to the end of the race and hopefully maybe we can make up some positions again. That will be quite nice. But Hulkenberg gets an awful restart and we're going to turn on the battery and hopefully get close to him, because he really got a poor run out of Raskas, and by the time Verstappen pulled away, who was in the lead, he got a really bad exit. But there's another safety car. There is another safety car straight away on the race restart. So, as you can see by my reaction, I'm quite annoyed.
Oh my god. This is boring, man. Why is there another safety car?
So, I'm not actually sure what happened, but I'm pretty sure this is why there was a safety car. So, Hadjar just stops, everyone starts ghosting, and to be honest, you couldn't ask me what is going on. I have got no idea. And then he just is driving like normal again. So we don't box, obviously, because we literally just did. But Hulkenberg gets the same pretty rubbish exit. And we're going to turn on the battery and really try go for an overtake here, as he covers the inside at the last second and we lock up going into Sandoval, and Yuki Tsunoda gets back past us. So that has gone really terribly wrong, as we were trying to make a move into Sandoval, but we actually got overtaken into Sandoval as Tsunoda covered the inside. We locked up the brakes and he gets back past us. So it was, you could say, a rookie mistake, and even the team is trying to urge us to pass Sonoda, which we are going to really try and do, as this is crucial for our race now, as we want to score the most points as possible. So we're going to really try and get a great exit out of the Nouvelle chicane, which we do, and we go up the inside of Tabak. We do lock wheels a little bit, but then he backs out for the second part of the fast chicane, which, if he didn't back out, it would have probably been a crash. So thank you, Sonoda, for having some respect. And now that has really opened up the gap to Nico Hülkenberg, which we're going to do the same sort of tactic where we hold up the rest of the field and we let Hülkenberg go, as also we have some front wing damage for something I'm actually unsure of. I'm not sure where we got that from. Maybe it was the overtake on Fernando Alonso where we do touch him slightly, but nothing really happened for the rest of the race, and we really hold up Sonoda, as the gap is now 16 seconds to Hülkenberg, as Max Verstappen ends up winning the race, which was a very dominant drive from him. He led from start to finish. Fair play to Max Verstappen. But now, going back to our race, we are going into the fast chicane and swimming pool for the very last time. And we do, in fact, hold off Sonoda, which is very nice. We were defending quite hard. It is pretty easy to defend around here, obviously, but we come home for a very hard-fought P6.
Oh, wow. P6. Oh my god. That was pretty crazy. I told you this race was going to be a good one, and I was not lying. Wow.
And it's always good, Crofty, to get that momentum on your side.
Max Verstappen wins the race. Good for him. But yeah, we were just holding the pack constantly throughout pretty much the whole race. So, and it was also quite hard when we had to get back past Sonoda with that very, very sketchy overtake. But that was mental.
I can't wait to see what's next.
So, finish P6, 8 points. Very, very good. And now let's look at the standings. So, we actually level with Hülkenberg, both on 23 points, which is quite nice. We jump up to P5 in the constructors' standings. Only 10 points behind Mercedes, who haven't really been having that good of a season, with only... well, no, none of them score points again, so that's interesting. What's going on there? They had like a penalty or something. Yeah, 10-second penalty with him and Charles, which is pretty weird. But let's advance through. And I believe it is the Spanish Grand Prix, which is the next race. And we've also got a rating rivalry with Kimi Antonelli, which is interesting. So we've got our new rivals now, so we need to beat them, obviously, as our rating does increase by quite a fair bit after finishing P6, which is nice. And now we will just head on into the next Grand Prix weekend, which I do believe is Spain. I might be wrong. I hope I'm not wrong. But I do think it is Spain, and we'll also see what upgrades we can put on the car, because we did get a decent amount of resource points, so I am hoping that we can buy something, but we'll just check.
This is the perfect opportunity to show the world why you belong in this sport, and to show me why you belong amongst my very exclusive clientele. That's a joke. I love working with you.
Okay. So yeah, Antonelli is our new rival now, which is pretty cool. And we've got a secret meeting with VCARB, so let's talk to them further. And they're just going to tell us more info about the car development. So it looks like they've put on more upgrades, but our car is not even that far off. So, and look at their success. They haven't even scored a single point. So, because of that, I am going to decline talks because they just don't look like they're moving anywhere.
The team are pleased that you've declined that meeting. Gold star, brownie points, etc., etc. I guess we'll see if anything else more exciting comes calling, but let's focus on our current seat for now.
Yep, we will. And since we have 440 resource points, let's spend it. So we have the beam wing coming in for Spain. We've got our tyre wear upgrade, and that will come in. That will come in. So we will be able to buy more upgrades probably after the Spanish Grand Prix. So yeah, we've unlocked this upgrade, but we don't have the resource points, obviously. So until Spain, I'll see you all later.